Welcome back to this new inspirational video. Today I wanted to go over 3 very important points. They are purpose, vision, and goals. Now let's start out with the first one, purpose. Do you understand what it means to have purpose in your life? This was something I started thinking about a couple of days ago, and I looked up some stories. We call them rags to riches. They're a novel idea of someone that ended up from poverty into great wealth. In most cases, that's what we consider the term, but it can mean many more things. A rags to riches story can also be just going from a bad life to a positive life where somebody is living their dreams, whatever that means. In this case, they're talking about people that were very poor and became multi-millionaires. Now, an interesting point is that all these people, through these stories, whenever you study multi-millionaires, 99% of the time, you're going to find out that many of them didn't come from great upbringings or from wealthy families to begin with. You know, they started like you and me, perhaps with poverty or not great success at all. Our parents might have not been successful, they might have not been involved in any big activities, and therefore they weren't able to help us out easily or anything. The one thing these people all have in common is that they figured out some way, somehow, what their purpose was in life. They became very clear on what they wanted to do with their time while they were on this planet. Now the question you have to ask yourself every day, if you haven't figured this out yet, is what is my purpose? What is your purpose? I can take you back into the past. In 2008, when I first started studying metaphysics on a serious basis, this concept came to my mind over and over again through the books and mentors that I had over the years. They were always talking about have a purpose, you gotta be clear on what you want to do. It's a huge question. If you don't know what you want to do, you're going to be stuck right away. So I was sitting at a lake overlooking a beautiful, beautiful big lake during sunsets or even sometimes at a sunrise or just in the afternoon. And in a sort of meditative way, I would consider, what do I really want to do, you know? And it didn't take very long. It did take a bit of time, but not very long for me to come up with some creative ideas where I felt like this is what I want to dedicate my time to. Back then I dedicated it to making music, and I actually kept doing that for almost a decade in between studying the mind. Now that was very fulfilling for me because every time I would make a new track, it would feel like I had created something that hasn't been heard by the world in exactly this manner before. So it's almost godlike, you could say, but I didn't become arrogant about it. It was more like a very fulfilling activity in and of itself. So for a moment in my life, I thought my purpose would be to be a musician full time. Now I tried testing this out, giving DJ gigs at certain places, and then I realized to myself really quickly that I didn't really like it. I didn't like standing somewhere for like 8 hours in a row, even though the audience at the time was pretty positive about what I was playing. That was another thing that was kind of scary at first, because if you're going to do it wrong, you're going to have people standing there live in the venue that are going to be like, what is this guy doing? Thankfully it didn't go bad at all. Actually, people afterwards came up to me, they even wanted to take pictures with me. They thought I was perhaps some famous DJ. Well, maybe not famous, but more like, because I was a DJ, they automatically saw me as something special, I guess. So I was like, yeah, sure, you can take a picture, I don't mind. I mean, at the time it was kind of flattering, but also strange. It was a new sort of occurrence to me. But I realized, okay, my purpose is probably not necessarily giving live shows like other musicians, but I do like producing music, so I kept doing that at least, and just sharing it online. And I've still been sharing it to this day, or at least for the last few months. I haven't been sharing new music, but I did post some music on my channel at the end of 2019, and maybe over time I'll post more if I make some. I still have a lot left that I could share, but that's besides the point. So I thought for a moment my purpose would be to be a musician, but then I realized, no, I don't want to do this. But before this whole event in 2008, I was unconsciously working towards another dream. I wanted to make movies. And I thought that would be my purpose, to become a filmmaker and actor. I worked on that for a couple of years and I really enjoyed it, but it also didn't really work out. Then in 2008 somewhere, 2009, I started to realize maybe I should write my own book to inspire people, or to at least share with people what I feel is important for us to consider. So then my purpose sort of shifted to becoming a writer full time. Of course, that also wasn't the case for me. That is also not where I went to in the end. In the end, what it all climaxed into is just becoming a teacher and coach, you could call, of the mind, and at least to help people see how they can live a more effective life. But there's something strange about this, because what I realized with this purpose is that I can honestly say this This one thing is something I would want to do and I'm willing to do until the moment I die. Now that is a real purpose. If you can find that in your life, an activity, an objective where you can feel this is something I would do for the rest of my life, if you can honestly feel it in your heart, then you have found your real purpose in life. So all these other activities that I was involved in all helped me understand the mind better in their own ways. It helped me to see how I could create and how I could use my imagination. Looking back on it, I used my mind in certain ways as I teach people now unconsciously back in those days. And that's actually beautiful, because as a teacher of the mind, you need to have a lot of experience, or at least experience to a certain extent, to understand what people are going through when you want to help them out. Because they might be in very similar situations but don't understand what's going on. That's where we as the teacher come in to help people see what's going on so that they can shift around more easily than if they were to try to figure this out all on their own. And that is what it means to have a purpose. So if we look at these people that went from rags to riches, all of them might have been in bad places in their childhood or maybe even later in life still, but they became aware of something that they really wanted to dedicate their time to. They really wanted to do this one thing and share it with the world. Now that's the very first thing you want to start considering for yourself. What is my purpose? What do I really want to share with humanity in my own unique way? And once you figure that out, be sure to write it down, or at least in such a way, when you become aware of it, you can never forget about it, because it comes from the depths of your soul anyway. But just in case the physical world starts to mess with your mind and you forget about your purpose for whatever reason, it's nice to have it written down so you can always look at it and remind yourself of, this is where I want to go, this is what my life is going to be about. So that's the very first step. Now, the second step is a vision. With vision, we mean having a vision. Now, what does it mean to have a vision? Well, once you know what your purpose is, you can start working on building a vision of how you're going to execute that purpose. So it's basically seeing in your mind's eye, through your imagination, exactly the sort of activities you would be involved in order to express your purpose in life. This is very important, because if you have a purpose but don't know how to go about it, then you might stay stuck forever. And that's exactly what I've been doing. In 2018, I became very clear and decided I want to start coaching people. I want to help them understand their minds better. So at first, with this purpose, I built a vision of starting my own coaching company. For whatever reason, it didn't work out, and looking at it now, especially with the coronavirus incidents going on, where people are actually out of business because they're not allowed to physically work with people, it's actually a good thing for me as well. Of course, with the internet, online coaching was on my mind, but I was really focused on physical interaction with people, and I'm glad that it actually failed looking back on it now, so I don't have that issue, because it failed, I had to change direction. So what happened was, first I had the vision of building a company, but then because it didn't work out the way I wanted to, I didn't let go of my purpose. That's the key point, because I was very clear, this is my purpose though, I gotta figure out a better way on how to go about it. So I changed my vision around for the time being, and this way I focused on, okay, I'm going to build myself up online, make people aware that I exist, and then over time I'll see where it all takes me. Maybe it makes it easier to give seminars and lectures in person if other companies or people see me on video and they're interested in having me teach to an audience over where they live. That's totally fine. Now that's part of my vision. So for me currently, my vision is to simply share as much as I can and over-deliver, first and foremost. Over-deliver on this information so people can really learn something, can really be inspired and come back to this channel to keep reminding themselves of powerful ideas. So that's a vision, you see. These were activities that I created through my imagination, and then I started to work on them. I remember this so well. In May 2019, that's when the ideas came for making video presentations. In April I already worked on it, but then in May 2019 it took up speed. I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to experiment with this. So I started recording my first video, I started editing together as I saw it in my imagination, and I saw the end result, and I sent it to a friend and I told him, look at this, and he said, this is pretty awesome. This actually made it so that I wanted to look at it more so than whenever you did your videos in the past, because I experimented with making so-called inspirational videos years ago. But what happened was I didn't really feel like this was going to go anywhere yet. I thought I had to be an actual coach and not do this stuff online. But now I realize I can do it online. There's other people who've done it and who are still doing it, so I'm gonna join them. I'm gonna do my own thing online first and foremost. So through the vision that I have, I'm able to execute my purpose. So that's how you want to see it. Your purpose then connects with your vision. Your vision is your ideal way of how you want to go about executing and expressing your purpose in life. Once you make that clear, you're ready for the third step, because the third step is goals. So once you have a clear purpose of what your life is going to be about, what you want to dedicate your entire existence to, and once you have a vision of how you want to execute that purpose, where you see the sorts of activities you would be involved in, then it's time to take action. Now these actions are based upon things you can do from your present circumstances first and foremost. Perhaps your dream is so big, your vision is so big that you don't have the finances to execute everything about it, but you can always start executing little parts of that vision already. And then you're involved in living according to your purpose. So with me, a simple example would be, alright, I have the purpose, inspire humanity. The vision, do it through the internet for now. The goals, well, that would be, in this case, make videos or do something online in order to make people aware of what you want to teach and share with them. You see, these are goals. If I drop that part, if I just had the purpose and vision, then I could sit here and think, oh, that would be a great future if I would do this, if I would do that, and nothing would happen. That's why I set the goals. That's why I have constant goals. That's why I've been uploading more regularly as of late, because I know I gotta keep sharing my stuff. I gotta get myself out there. I gotta stay on purpose. I gotta execute my vision. And as I keep doing that, I know I'm gonna grow closer and closer to the realization of bigger aspects that I saw through that vision inside my imagination to begin with. And that's exactly what you want to consider for yourself. So if you're clear on what your purpose is and what you want to dedicate your life to, if you have a clear vision of what that all entails, of how you would be executing your vision, then you want to start setting goals. You want to take a piece of paper or pencil, or you can sit on your computer and you just simply start to ask yourself, okay, what can I do and what should be done right from my present circumstances in order for me to start expressing my purpose in life. And then once you become clear on that, you have to take action on it. And as you do so, the beautiful thing is that you're in the process of making your dream a reality. It might not instantly be at the level you want it to be, but every step you take from that moment on is adding to that dream, is adding to that purpose, is adding to the manifestation of what you desire. So these 3 steps are very important. And if you analyze most multimillionaires, you'll see that that's exactly what they've been doing, either consciously or unconsciously. People don't just go from rags to riches out of nowhere, just out of sheer luck. They went there because they became clear on what they wanted to dedicate their lives to. They built a vision in their imagination of how they wanted to execute that purpose, and then they made it happen. This is so important. This is so important, you see, because if people miss this point, they might stay stuck forever and ever and ever. And that's not where you want to live. You want to live a fulfilled life, and in order to do so, you're going to have to use your mind in a certain way. Yeah, I'm currently looking at my chat or my monitor because I want to share something here with you as a final note. Stories like this about people from rags to riches are not uncommon once you start studying multimillionaires. All that really happened in their lives is they simply became aware of what they really desired to achieve in life, or how they really wanted to serve humanity. That is very important, to know how you want to serve humanity. If you can figure it out, you have found the best career for yourself, and it will make you successful. Some love to serve humanity through entertainment, which comes in many forms. Others through inspiring others, which also comes in many forms. Others through becoming a great success in an established company, or by creating a product that can improve people's lives. On and on it goes, but all they have in common is that they were very clear on what they were after and knew that they were born to do it. Now that's exactly what you want to start considering for yourself. I've talked about this in a video about Joan of Arc that's on my channel a few days ago, about figuring out what you were born to do. Don't take this lightly, because if you figure it out, most people might say, I already know what I'm born to do, I'm already doing it, but then they have bigger dreams and secretly a bigger purpose, so they're not really doing what they were born to do. So you have to take this very serious, because once you figure that out, your life is going to take on such new meaning, such a great meaning even, because you can feel from the depths of your soul that you're doing something worthwhile with your time while you're here. And that's the most beautiful time to, spend it. The beautiful way to spend your time is by being on purpose, by executing what God has given you from the depths of your soul to express in your own unique way. That is what this is all about. That is what living is all about. It's not about fitting in, it's about expressing who you really are. So are you expressing who you really are? Well, you can start doing that by getting these 3 steps into place: the purpose, the vision, and then the goals. And then watch what happens. Everything will start to improve. Everything starts to change. It's gonna be so awesome for you, this journey, if you take this advice. Hopefully you'll come back to my channel one day and tell me what you've did with this information. But you don't have to, of course. Some people are not comfortable, or they might forget about me altogether after they applied the information, but that's alright. It would just be interesting to, of course, know at times how people are benefiting from applying their minds in these ways, because sometimes people do that in private with me, and they might tell me in private, but they have some very fascinating things to say about it, I can tell you that much. Sometimes I'm like, well, it would be cool if you shared it publicly, but maybe they're not comfortable with that. But I can only tell you, for some people, their life is changing drastically by simply considering all these ideas, because their mind is growing and expanding in a direction that they've never done before. Because society as a whole isn't really talking to each other in this manner of having purpose, of vision and goals, of becoming successful with what we're passionate about. Everything is always based on luck or chance, but we want to get away from that. And we're going to get away from that by using our minds in the right way. Anyways, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.